Hello everyone, my name is Hauntbound, and before moving on to something more controversial, let's start with something I think we can all agree. The universe is huge. Compared to the rest of the universe, we're pretty much a small raindrop falling into an ocean. So is it completely out of the question to say maybe we're not alone? Maybe there is other life out there at the same level of intelligence or possibly even higher. If there is, they must be super far away, right? Well, maybe not. In 2017, footage taken from the U.S. Navy fighter pilots was leaked by To the Stars Academy of Arts and Science, which was formed by a former Blink-182 member, Tom DeLonge. That doesn't have much significance, I just thought that was cool. The footage has been circulating for a while, being reported on as far back as December of 2017, but they have only recently been officially declassified. The Navy's explanation? They don't really have one. The object was first picked up by two Navy fighter pilots. It was moving incredibly fast and had very unnatural movements. One of the fighter pilots who witnessed the event, David Fravor, described the object as a 40-foot-long tic-tac. This build looks nothing like anything the Navy or Air Force uses and has almost impossible movements for the technology we have now, never mind 2004 when this video was filmed. The Navy poured $22 million into a project dedicated to identifying these things. Origin, who's operating it, anything. They found nothing. The funding was eventually pulled and put into things deemed more important. However, the military official put in charge of the program, Luis Elizondo, has stated that he thinks, quote, "There is very compelling evidence that we may not be alone." And like I said earlier, this technology is too advanced for humans, at least that we know of. A quote from Elizondo himself reads, "These aircraft, we'll call them aircraft, are displaying characteristics that are not currently within the U.S. inventory, nor in any foreign inventory that we are aware of." So, what does this mean exactly? Are there actually aliens here to probe us and take us to their planet as slaves or whatever? Well, maybe not. I will admit, this is one of the weirdest things I've ever seen, and no videos have ever made such an impact on the topic of aliens, but the fact of the matter is, it's simply too inconclusive. The videos definitely seem very strange and unexplainable, but a closer look to some of the details surrounding the story of the video may be grounds for valid criticism. Let's take David Fravor, for example, one of the fighter pilots who witnessed the 40-foot-long tic-tac. His recollection of the event over the years has actually formed some inconsistencies. For example, where the UFO was positioned above the water. This has led some to believe that the story is, to a degree, fabricated. I don't really believe this is the case. Think of your memory of an event as a piece of Swiss cheese with holes in it. Your memory doesn't work like a camera that perfectly captures an event. In fact, it's actually a lot more flawed than you might think. When your brain remembers something, it creates gaps in between the actual event you're remembering. So, to make it more consistent, your brain fills in those gaps with inaccurate details. Not only that, but our own perception has to do with this too. If you tell the same story over the course of 16 years multiple times, you will inadvertently, or sometimes even on purpose, add details you're not 100% sure are accurate. This is known as confabulation. David Fravor, at least that we know of, is human, meaning he is very well susceptible to these types of fallacies, meaning his account of that day 16 years ago could be considerably inaccurate. And what about the actual technology of the aircrafts? Well, that can be explained too. What we're witnessing is shot by infrared cameras, meaning we have to take into account how they actually present things. Let's take what is considered to be the hardest video to explain, the gimbal video. It's the clearest of the three, meaning we can get a pretty accurate shape. Except, not really. When captured by an infrared camera, aircrafts can become distorted with these large black splotches. This can be seen in fighter jets and even commercial aircrafts, meaning that what we're seeing here could very well be a distorted image of something else. So then, what is it? No idea, and there's no need to endlessly theorize either. It could really be anything. And what about the seemingly impossible rotation it does mid-flight? This can also be explained. Infrared lights will rotate their position sometimes while tracking an aircraft, which is referred to as search and track. When an infrared camera rotates, it keeps the horizon in the same position so that it's always in line with the observable line of sight. It's an illusion created with the help of parallax, and the same can be said for an object that looks like it's moving way faster against a more distant background, when really that's not the case. All this combined shows that this video is still not enough to prove the existence of aliens. The other two videos can also be explained logically, but mostly because of how far away they are. If you want to see explanations of those videos and more details on the program responsible for identifying the UFOs, check out C1997's video on the subject. He explains it better than I ever could. So then the question still remains, what are these things? Of course there's no definite answer, but there are always some theories. The first being that this is something man-made, for example, a drone or something of the sort. This could explain the speed and heat signatures of the infrared sensor, but there's another theory that I think is way more interesting. That being that these are actually time travelers from the distant future checking out the past. As cool as that may sound, there's really no evidence that could back this up other than the unnatural movements, which once again can be credited to the infrared cameras. The final human theory is that this is a government conspiracy, or is from a foreign government. That sounds plausible, but given the criticism surrounding the infrared videos, that probably isn't the case either. The next theory is that this is some kind of natural phenomena. The most boring theory, but is also most likely the correct one. The go fast video can be attributed to a bird looking like it's going very fast only because of the speed of the jet plane. Not saying that's the case because obviously the Pentagon would know more than I do, but there's plenty of explanations that could be found here. Same could be said for the FLIR video. Gimbal could also be just about anything. There's honestly no way to tell. And the final theory is that this is the work of aliens. As much as I'd want to believe this to be the case, it's simply not enough evidence to warrant such a massive accusation. Truth is, until we see more videos like these declassified by the government, there's simply no way we'll know. So, bottom line, let me take you back to the beginning of this video. The universe is huge. Every day, galaxies far, far away are moving away faster than we can get to them, meaning it's not entirely out of the question that we may not be alone. But on the off chance that we are, maybe that's okay. Being all alone in this universe may be scary, but also quite comforting. But who knows? Maybe we're not alone. Thank you all so much for watching, and remember, darkness awaits you ahead.